It's a dark night. Dark night.
Hi, Baldy Jack here, and today we're taking a look at Jason Takes Vancouver.
Hey, it's Manhattan, Baldy, not Vancouver. Get it right. Do I need to come over there and kick your...
Oh, hi, sorry, Christian. Today we're taking a look at the 8th installment in the Friday the 13th franchise, and that is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Friday the 13th Part 8 released July 28th, 1989. The film will go on to being regarded as the weakest Paramount entry in the franchise, but fans have come to enjoy the movie for its change of setting and semi-inventive kills. So without further ado, let's get started. The film opens with a couple named Jim and Susie cruising in a boat on Crystal Lake. As they pass by the abandoned camp, Jim tells Susie the backstory of Jason Voorhees. Meanwhile, the boat's anchor gets caught on a power cable, thus electrifying Jason's body and bringing him back from the dead. Shortly afterwards, Jim pranks Susie wearing a replica of Jason's hockey mask. She forgives him and they begin to explore each other rather more than New York.
Well, maybe we're just jerking off here then.
Jason sneaks his way on board and disembowels Jim with a harpoon gun. Susie runs off and tries to hide in one of the boat's cargo holds, but Jason finds her and jabs her with the spear tip. The next morning, a graduating class from Lakeview High boards the SS Lazarus bound for New York City, where we're introduced to such characters like the biology teacher, Charles McCulloch, Colleen Van Dusen, the English teacher who's taking her students on this very trip. Amongst those students is our shy protagonist, Rennie, who has a fear of water, and McCulloch just happens to be her overprotective uncle. Sean Robertson, who I suppose is the love interest for Rennie, Julius, a bright futured boxer, Tamara, the manipulative drama queen, Eva, the adorable kind friend, JJ, the guitarist chick, and various other minor characters. After all is said and done, Jason starts his murderous rampage when he bashes JJ to death with her own V guitar. We cut to Rennie and her dog, who see a vision of young Jason in the window, as we have multiple absurd child Jason hallucinations throughout the film. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, Rennie goes off to look for Toby. She ends up walking by Tamara and Eva, who are snorting the good sugary powder, cocaine. Shortly afterwards, they get caught by McCulloch. But Tamara thinks that Rennie ratted out on them, and as revenge, she pushes Rennie over the side of the boat. Jason continues stalking the ship here and now. He stumbles upon a sauna room and uses one of the rocks, plunging it into the abdomen of a nameless boxer. I really do enjoy the intensity and agony of this kill. Very, very unique, I will say that. Tamara attempts to blackmail McCulloch over a final project, in which she succeeds. Jason then sneaks his way into the room as she just got done taking a shower.
Hey.
Jason barges his way in and breaks a mirror, and ends up killing Tamara with a mirror shard. I suppose you could say the beast killed the beauty? Okay, never mind, it's a reversal joke and you probably don't understand. The mayhem continues when the assistant admiral is killed via harpoon to the back, and slitting Captain Robertson's throat with what I think is a miniature machete. Sean and Rennie discover his father's corpse and use the intercom to warn the others about the situation. Julius and a group of students arm up and begin to search for their unknown assailant. Jason chases Eva down to the disco room, basically to the point where Eva is going around in circles and gets strangled to death. It's a very drawn out sequence that works out perfectly. Wayne goes off to search in the engine room for JJ. He loses his glasses and accidentally shoots a crew member. Of course, Jason comes by and electrocutes him, causing a big fire, with Jason setting off the fire alarm, funny enough. Meanwhile, McCulloch thinks the deckhand is all behind this, suspecting that he killed the students and wants to cause a panic. Some student named Miles is searching about. Jason pops up out of nowhere and chases him, leading up to a ladder.
Run, bitch! Run!
Jason grabs Miles and throws him onto the radio antenna, with his body hanging about like a rag doll. While the boat begins to fill with water and sink, the remaining cast of characters get onto a lifeboat as the Lazarus sinks into the depths of the Atlantic Ocean.
Alright, Baldy Jack, let me take this over. Alright. Okay, guys, so Sean and Julia start rowing the boat for an extended amount of hours. Unfortunately, that was cut from the film. I know we all would have loved to have seen them row a boat for hours on end. They do arrive in New York, but with Jason following in pursuit. I also would like to see how he swims down there and how long he can hold his breath. I'm assuming a long time. So our characters start wandering a very deserted area where two gangsters rob them. I mean, this is New York after all. They take Rennie along with them, threatening to kill her if they follow. Well, that's not very nice, is it? Jason kills the two thugs by stabbing one with an empty syringe. Just say no, kids.
What are you looking at, you hockey puck?
Jason bashes the other guy's head against a pipe, and he breaks the pipe with the guy's head. What kind of skull does this guy have? Julius gets run down by Jason and decides he's gonna box Jason on a rooftop. Just like Punch-Out, ladies and gentlemen. Julius straight up punches Jason for 1 minute and 16 seconds straight. Yes, we did stop and time this out. Just before Jason clean cuts Julius' head off with a single blow. We all know this famous scene in the movie, and it is freaking amazing.
Admit it, you're impressed.
Our survivors find a cop, finally, right? And the cop tries to call for backup after seeing Julius' head in the cruiser, but it quickly doesn't end well when Rennie drives the police car towards Jason, knocking him down, and crashes the car into a brick wall. I'd love to see how her driver's ed class went. Rennie, Sean, and Charles manage to get out just in time when Colleen dies in the explosion. I suppose that's because she was unconscious from the crash. I wonder how everybody else managed to just wake up instantaneously. We cut to a flashback of young Rennie where McCulloch pushes her into Crystal Lake, trying to teach her how to swim. I mean, that's one way to teach somebody how to swim. I always wonder what Rob Heaton was thinking. Are we supposed to really believe that little Jason is like living underwater and just decides to pull Rennie when she gets out in the water? I can't understand it, guys, and I don't think you will ever either. I don't know that Rob understands it himself. Anyway, Rennie runs off and Sean follows after her. McCulloch briefly stays behind and, well, Jason catches up to him. And after that, he decides to take McCulloch upside down in a barrel of toxic sewage, killing him in such a disgusting way, but rightfully so. Jason finds himself in a subway chasing down Rennie and Sean, where Jason is electrocuted on the train tracks, but we know he's not down for the count. Quite frankly, that's how he came back to life in this movie, is electricity. The chase then leads through Times Square and then a diner where Rennie tells a waitress that a maniac is trying to kill them, but she brushes it off with the famous "Welcome to New York." Just then, Jason walks right through a wooden door. The cook aggressively approaches Jason, and we might recognize who this cook is. We may see him as Jason in a later entry, Freddy vs. Jason, but ends up being thrown against the mirror. A great scene, if you ask me. The chase soon leads down into the sewer tunnels where John Carpenter, a sanitation worker, tells them that every time at midnight the sewer floods with toxic waste. What is going on over there in New York? And before he can show them the way out, well, Jason obviously is going to kill this guy with his own wrench. A nice little blood splatter against the screen. Jason then walks up, not noticing Rennie, ready to swing at Sean, but Rennie shines a flashlight in his face. You can do a lot of things to Jason, but never shine a flashlight in his face, stating that you didn't get me in the lake, and you're not going to get me now. I almost think she believes what she's saying. Jason then follows after her, to which she runs away in fear, trying to hide from him. She then notices a small barrel of toxic waste. She throws the sludge into Jason's face, resulting in a steaming-like pumpkin face, which I think is kind of cute, to be honest. Rennie flees from the now screaming Jason. Jason chases them over to a nearby ladder. The sewer begins to flood with toxic waste, dragging Jason away and presumably killing him. Rennie sees that Jason has been reverted to a child, but he may just be horrifically melted away or washed away into the ocean. We don't really know. The film closes as Rennie and Sean reunite with their dog, where the hell has this dog been, and wander off into the city of New York. And that, guys, is Jason Takes Manhattan.
In conclusion, Friday the 13th Part 8 is a boatload of fun. Pun intended. This film is an 80s time capsule at its finest. At times, I find this sequel to be quite refreshing, given a whole different atmosphere and what objects Jason will use at his disposal. I absolutely enjoy the claustrophobic feeling of the ship, with tight corridors and narrow halls. Granted, we only spend 30 minutes in New York, it certainly pays off for what it is. My only gripes with Part 8 is the weird visuals of young Jason and bizarre full circle ending of Jason being reverted back to a child. As far as the acting goes, it's fairly entertaining. The cast of characters have their chemistry in the right places, along being semi-interesting.
This voyage is doomed. Yeah, tell me about it.
The kills this time around are quick cut, and at times, they're pretty creative. The most ironic part is how some of the characters are killed off based on their traits or whatever it is they're doing. Honestly, the kills in Jason Takes Manhattan feel almost PG-13 in a way, considering there's barely any blood or gore. But I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad thing. It's more or less the style that Rob Hedden was going for with the film. As for the design of Jason Voorhees himself, it's favorable but underwhelming at the same time. He's sporting his usual attire, but this time he's wet and slimy.
That's what she said!
The only real big takeaway from this look of Jason is the new hockey mask. Kane Hodder returns for his second outing as the character, and without a doubt, he steals the show. The film will go on to gross $14.3 million at the box office, making it the second lowest box office in the franchise. Overall, if you're looking for a unique, out-of-the-ordinary slasher, sit down and watch Friday the 13th Part 8. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and until then, see you all next time.